Guardians, what's going on, guys? Your boy Sly here, back again with some more of that delicious Destiny content. And this time around, we're going to break down the ViDoc and take a closer look at some of the things I noticed while recording all of it, and then checking out the first raid encounter. On top of that, I have some random bits of information awesomeness to go over, so just little splats of information that doesn't really fit in anywhere else, and not really long enough to make a separate vid on. Okay guys, so let's get to work. First off, how awesome was this ViDoc, right? I mean, again, if you didn't get a chance to see it, click it right here and give it a watch. It is full of goody goodness. Second, what I love reveals, Bungie guys are giving away too damn much. We pretty much know exactly what all the armor looks like. We know what the plague lands look like. We know what the new maps will look like in PvP. We know what every single artifact will look like and what they'll do, and I could just keep going on and on. While I love peaks just as much as the next person, there are some peaks and then there are spoilers. Bungie, especially Game Informer, is treading that fine line. Nonetheless, it's my job not to question, just to break down information. So let's give that a rest and go take a look. The first thing you instantly notice, guys, is graphics. While Destiny has always had good graphics and phenomenal attention to detail, this time around we can see what we're supposed to be seeing from the beginning. All these fast-paced clips, they don't really drive the point home, but you can tell from images like this and smaller details like a wide view of the plague lands, seeing the lava bubble up or the smokestacks, upgraded particle effects, upgraded snow graphics. It's the small stuff that has a big difference. And I think that's why they don't just attach the plague lands to the existing Cosmodrome. Just like the tower and the vaults, they were made with the constraints of the last gen systems. And even though we're cutting those systems, the space that now exists was made within the memory constraints from before. So unless the Cosmodrome gets a complete makeover or the tower/vault, unless they get completely overhauled, they still have to work with the confines of the previous build. So that's why I think the Plague Lands is a completely new destination on the map, even with the Divide and the Rocket Yard still in there. It's going to be two different places. We can actually visit the old Rocket Yard and old Divide in Patrol, which still has the last gen constraints, and this new destination was probably built from the ground up with only last gen in mind, shedding the old constraints, and some of these graphics like we see here is just a nice way to say that, hey, we're finally there, and it'll be a nice upgrade for all of us. Now, the reason I started with graphics is because of this bad boy right here, and she's a beaut! I think that all these real-time, on-demand graphic overlays are now possible because last gen is gone. Lighting is one thing, but fire effects, new holographic overlays that aren't built into armor, but instead an actual option, those are just some of the advancements and graphically demanding things that we can now take advantage of. And of course, this flame option was definitely one of them. And how sick is this, right? This is indeed the Iron Banner armor, and I'm assuming that this ornament is probably purchased or from winning the Iron Banner tournament. Again, speculation on my part, but this would definitely push people to get to rank 5, right? I mean, I know I would be absolutely all over it. So, unfortunately, again, my man the Warlock was left out, but we got to see the Hunter and his Iron Banner armor as well, all flamed up and everything, and it looks just as good as the Titan. The only other ornamental armor that I could for sure pick out was the Trials gear and the Raid set. They didn't mention how many ornaments there will be for each armor piece, but they did say that there will only be ornaments you can get for going flawless, only ornaments you can get in raid challenges, only ornaments from Iron Banner events, vendors, quests, so I bet the list is going to be pretty long. You just seen the Trials ornaments, and they didn't specifically show the before and after raid ornament, but you can see from this picture right here, and by the way, my favorite style, where they have an all black with red accents, and here with the primarily all red and black with silver highlights. There's also this, which shows the Titan using the first color scheme, but as you can see, a cool light scheme is going on here. It looks like there's like rays shooting out of his arms. So it looks like there's going to be a ton of ways to customize our Guardians. On top of that, Lord Saladin will be selling special engrams called Iron Engrams, which are going to give us access to Year 1 and Year 2 armor pieces. I'm assuming it'll be like the old weapons from the April update. Probably the most popular sets only will be coming back, which is cool, but the thing I'm excited about are the class items. All class items are coming back in Year 3 except for the raid ones. Some of the original Iron Banner class items were the best ones ever made, and I'm glad to see them returning. So as y'all know, weapons also get the makeover when it comes to ornaments, and just a quick view of the couple things that we see here. First up, the Monte Carlo decked out with some sweetness, as well as the Hawk Moon. Also going back to this picture, you can see the new exotic Kavastov with an ornament to make it look like the original you picked up back in day one. Also, if you look at it closely, it even comes with the cracked scope on it. A nice little touch of nostalgia. Now, since we're on exotics, one thing you need to get out the way, they have not said we are getting more vault space. It's pretty much been confirmed, unless they make a last-minute addition, that what we have now is what we're staying with in Rise of Iron, which is kind of a shame, guys. The nice space they gave us back in April update was awesome, but that got filled pretty damn quickly. So hopefully they hear our cries and give us some more. Alright, so since we're on exotics, I didn't spot a bunch this time around, which I guess is fine with me, you know, they spoiled enough. But they did show off this thing called the Nemesis Star. If some of my subscribers out there watch me frequently, then y'all know I was super excited about this one because of its style and how stable the gun looked when we saw 5 seconds of gameplay like a few trailers ago. But this right here confirms it. Look at that impact versus its rate of fire. And then that stability, it is super sexy, guys. I like the look in the barrel, and again, another ornament right here. You can see them switch it back and forth to like a black and red look. This is going to be awesome. Alright, so speaking of weapons, they show off this pulse rifle right here that looks to be from the raid. Here's a screenshot of it, but the cool thing about this is that if you kill an enemy with a headshot, these seeking cluster grenades swarm out of the body and start attaching to the closest target. You can see that in action right here. It's pretty quick, so I'll replay it a couple times. But how sexy is that thing, right? It makes me wonder what the sniper rifle is going to look like. They could have an absolute field day with that thing. Finally, the weapon I'm actually most excited about is probably the smallest one, and it's this little beast right here. I'm also a little bit nervous because look at this thing in action, guys. 3 trigger pulls and it's over. Not sure if it's an exotic, legendary, or what it is, but it kind of looks like it has this white iron banner tree or something like it on the side. Not quite sure, but it is totally devastating. It might be a new type of sidearm or hand cannon class, because if you look at this thing, it fits the sidearm bill. Sleek, small, fast firing. But at the end of the ViDoc, we see a Warlock firing this thing, which looks to be similar, but it's much bigger and it has its burst released a little bit slower. It might just be the continuation of something like Drake's Promise, you know? While the Drake's Promise flopped at every turn since its release, these new ones might at least have made its existence possible and not totally worthless. So, sorry Drake's Promise, but I think your predecessor is about to take over. Alright, so moving onward, a lot of these things in the ViDoc you've already seen me mention before, guys. I mean, I'm sure you've seen them yourself, you know, Salad Bar Man, Fellwinter's Peak, stuff like that. But the last thing I wanted to get into was ARCHON'S Forge and the Raid. Now, the only raid boss we know of so far is that Death Zamboni. So first up, I think this raid is going to utilize the same entrance mechanics as King's Fall did. To enter King's Fall, you have to do that, you know, sort of an entrance test before the portal opens up and lets you go in. And that takes place at the Court of Oryx. Well, I think this new raid will utilize it in the same fashion. Again, this is speculation, but that's the vibe that the ViDoc is throwing off. So we have something like the Court of Oryx coming with Rise of Iron, and it's called ARCHON'S Forge, as I'm sure all of you know. It's supposed to be hidden within the Plague Lands, and it will open up with an offering of Siva that you have to find from hidden places on patrol within the Plague Lands itself. Apparently that's how you get started in battle, and I believe that this thing right here is the offering that you have to find. Again, not 100% sure about this, but it seems to make sense. Now that's just to get into Archon Forge itself, and you have to get to it on patrol. I'm not sure how to work in the raid, but you can see a fire team right here opening up some kind of circular gate, and that looks to be a lot like large circles you see in the background from other vids, like the older trailer and the reveal streams from a few weeks ago. So I think we have to enter Archon's Forge, do a small test like we did for King's Fall, and then a gateway will open up at the Forge to take us into the beginnings of the raid, which looks to be an awesome jumping puzzle upwards towards the top of the broken down Cosmodrome wall before meeting our first encounter, that Death Zamboni. So for all of you out there who are watching this, guys, feel free to comment your ideas about this boss, this encounter, whatever you want to call it. How do you think it'll play out, and what do you think the mechanics will be? I've been theorizing a bunch of different ways on how to beat this, or at least what it could possibly be. I'd love to hear y'all's ideas, so definitely write them down in the comments below. Now here's a few things I noticed along with a few questions that I have myself. So let's assume you do your jumping puzzle upwards and you end up at the top of the wall with the Zamboni waiting for you. So I'm assuming assuming that this thing is stuck on this little piece of wall, and the idea is to get past it so you can reach the other side of the broken area and then jump down to the other area to descend further into the raid. So we know what we have to do, but like always, the how do we do it part is the trick. So a few things that I noticed. First, the Zamboni itself. There are metal overhangs all over it, as well as spikes. So you probably can't jump around it or above it due to these things. And if you look closely, there's electrical current underneath the wall scraper itself, so it's probably a bad idea and a very painful event to try to slide underneath it. Also, there are 2 cannons on the front. From what I can tell, a gigantic crusher arm is on the right side only. So to me, that means it's protecting something valuable, a weakness on that side of the Zamboni itself or on the right side of the wall. Something is on that right side. Also, I noticed in between a quick transition is that there are stairs at the back of this thing. You can just barely see them, but you see them right here. On top of that, there are some things that look like consoles on the top. So no idea if these are just things that will play into what needs to be done, or if it's just world art to show the mechanisms of the machine, which ultimately, I think is what it is. So like most things that are armored like crazy in the front, there's probably a weakness in the back, or at the very least, safety. If you look closely, you're going to notice a bunch of holes or hallways underneath the deck of the wall. Take that into account along with this image right here, which is from another video. It shows that everyone is bunched up on the right side, which is kind of funny because the right side is where the arm slams down. So that means there's probably a timed maneuver that has to be done, where we drop underneath in the correct hole, because I'm guessing if you take the wrong one, the electricity from the Zamboni will go over top of you and hurt you or kill you. So this thing also rides along rails. So I'm thinking that this thing will roll back and forth, and we either have to send one or maybe even a few Guardians underneath to either shut off the Zamboni to do damage, or it could be that it's a DPS game. Perhaps only a certain amount of damage will make it reset back to the beginning before scraping you off or stopping. Now those are all just ideas I thought of when I first started thinking about this program. But here's my idea, guys. Personally, I think this is more of an obstacle rather than a boss. Raid bosses are usually pretty secretive. They try to keep them that way because of the exact same thing I'm doing right now, taking every angle I can find and looking for a weakness or looking how to beat it. So that to me means that this is not a big deal, more of a sight and an obstacle rather than an actual fight. I think this is actually part of the jumping puzzle itself. The holes in the floor will lead to more tunnels deeper into the wall, and you're going to have to complete those jumping puzzles at a certain pace or time. Otherwise, when you head back upwards, just try to skip the crusher, it'll be there to greet you instead of you being behind it, and you're going to be stuck facing it again, so that means you're going to have to try again. So this is my theory, guys. After doing another entrance puzzle at ARCHON'S Forge, just like Kingsfall, we need to enter through the gate and jump our way upwards towards the top of the wall. Once we emerge at the top, we need to get to the far side with the Death Zamboni blocking the way. You're going to have splicers shooting at you the whole time while you're up there just to make life difficult. So to start off, you're going to have to activate the Zamboni and then it'll start steaming towards you. On the right side, that large arm will stab holes and open up entrances all over the top of the wall. You're probably going to have to pick the right hole and jump down it, or if you don't pick the right one, it's going to be death. But once you do, you'll have the jumping puzzle, which you'll have to complete super quick to beat the Zamboni back to the start, where you can then arrive behind it and then deactivate it. After that, you can then send the word for the rest of your team to do the same jumping puzzle without the fear or time of speed playing factors. You then all run to the back of this bridge and do your descent, and boom, onward with the raid. So that's my take on the Death Zamboni wall portion. Now let me know what you guys think or what your ideas are. Now so far, as the rest of the ViDoc stuff, it's already stuff I've mentioned before or you've seen on other videos before this. So I'm not going to double up on the same stuff. It starts off, private matches, new artifacts, which, by the way, cool side note, the artifact that lets you use your sword to reflect rockets and all those attacks from ogres, all that good stuff, it's going to actually let you reflect supers back as well. So, Nova Bombs, Golden Guns, the works. It's probably going to take a large amount of ammo to do that. Nonetheless, it's pretty freaking awesome. They also go over Fellwinter's Peak, the new NPCs, Tyra Khan, Shiro 4, but that's about it. It's still an awesome site, and once again, if you want to see it, check it out right here. But that's it for me, Guardians. We have an awesome amount of things to look forward to in the future, and I cannot wait to start covering it all. Alright, Guardians, I'm out. Don't forget to check me out on Twitter @SlyNation for all your Rise of Iron, The Division, and gaming needs. I'll have more videos ready to go when my replacement capture card comes in, so definitely look forward to that. I cannot wait to finish these 3 half-completed Division videos I have in my folders. It's been absolutely killing me. Anyways, guys, always a pleasure, and keep an eye out for more vids coming out from Sly Nation here very soon. But until then, this is your boy Sly. Done, gone, out.